you want to make a sinking spell. So some things you'll need are a jar that closes at the top. Doesn't have to be airtight, but it helps if it is. The ingredients last a little bit longer. You'll need your herbs, whatever herbs you use for protection, cinnamon, poppy, sage, whatever you want to use. You will need rope. I've got a good size rope here that I use. This is a really good size. It doesn't break if you put tension on it, like really hard tension, and you can double it up. I think it was at the Dollar Tree for like $1, and it's just twine rope. It's really good. I use it for all my cord cuttings and everything, for the same reason, because it's good twine. You've got all of those. You got to get your fruit, your apple. Could be any kind of apple, anything. I've even seen some people use corn or onions. Basically, what you want to do is you want to take these items, put them all together. It helps. You could do this anywhere though. You could do it outside. You could do it inside. You could do it literally anywhere. Set your circle, right? You set your circle. You invite your deity to come watch, right? And then you perform. First thing you want to do in the jar is put the protection stuff first, your cinnamon, whatever you have. Put all of your protection stuff first. Make sure that you're saying protection for your mother, for yourself, right? Because that's the very first thing you want to do. Then, after you have that protection set up, imagine yourself building a coffin, right, out of that jar. You've put the bedding in, and now it's time to place the dead body inside. So the best thing you can do is take your frustration out on that piece of fruit. So I would suggest, if you get an apple, cut 2 niches in the side, just jib 2 niches in the side, and then wrap the rope around it, and then twist and pull like you're decapitating this apple in half, basically. Get all of your frustration out. When you do this, imagine yourself strangling this person to death. I know it sounds terrible, it sounds really bad, and that's not really what you want to happen, but they've caused you so much harm, you have no real choice at this point. So you imagine it in your head. You're strangling them. Their head will pop off when the apple decapitates. Put both ends into the jar, but first sprinkle them with protection. Usually cinnamon works really good. You sprinkle them with cinnamon, shove them into the jar, make it all fit. It's all got to fit in the jar, right? Anything you have left over, into the jar, okay? From that point, right, because you're laying them to rest. You are laying that person to rest. You're laying all of their bad intentions. You have severed your ties with them. You have essentially killed them in astral. They are no longer alive to you anymore. And you've perpetuated the karmatic wall that is ready to fall on them. You're just giving the wall a little push. They've already built all this karma up themselves. You're just giving this wall a little push with your energy. So you are seeing it in your head. You kill them, You put the body into the vessel, into the coffin. You protect over top of that. Seal it really good. Now, what I've done, because it was in a full moon and it was more for like protection against a child, right? I put some of my own biological material in there. You know what we're talking about. So anyway, so you do that. Put it together. Wax seal the top. Make sure that it is sealed, because you're gonna sink this. If you can't sink it, bury it, right? It's got to be hidden, because if somebody finds it, then they can break it. But if they never find it, then they can never break it. So you bind it together. I usually get like a rock, something, tie it to it, and go sink it into a river or something like that. But you can bury it, right? As you are doing that, as you are getting rid of your evidence, because you've now killed somebody, you've stuffed their body into a container, and now you're about to dump that body somewhere. This is all things you need to be seeing in your head, because you're not physically doing it, but you're mentally doing it, and it's going to translate into the physical, right? So the more you imagine yourself doing these things, the more it may not have an actual like paralleled effect, but something is going to happen. There's karma behind it, so something is going to happen. When you're doing all of it, you put it all in there. Make sure you thank everybody you got to thank. Make sure you beg everybody you got to beg for protection. Make sure you let the universe know that this was your last option. You had no other option, and this was the only route that you were able to take. And even though you can feel a little bit of regret about it, you don't necessarily have to be sorry. You have to protect yourself. You have to protect your family. So put it in there, right? Close it up, wax the top, tie something to it. If you go to sink it, before you sink it, before you bury it, whatever it is, say your intentions again. Try to make them rhyme. Goddess in the sky, hear my prayer. Stop this grief, it's so unfair. Your children cry from time to time. This woman's hatred shall not be mine. By the power of three, I beg from thee. Hear my prayers, so mote it be. Stuff like that. They love that. They love it. It's like entertaining to them. They're like, oh, she's rhyming. Let me go see what she wants. Yeah. So hopefully this will help. And then, okay, so when you're done, you sink it, whatever you got to do, forget about it. Forget all about it. Go do something else. Don't think about it. Don't, because every time you go back and think about it, you're changing something about it. Don't think about it. Don't let it even cross your mind. Forget as much as you can about it, and it will perpetuate itself forward. And so tonight you have the summer solstice, so it might be like a really good night. Because just know that anything you put in after the summer solstice is going to go towards perpetuation of growth. So you have your moments where you're perpetuating growth, and then when it actually happens. So if anything, like right now is the growth moment, or it was yesterday and today. Tomorrow, so tonight, if I do a ritual, it's going to be perpetuating growth for the future. So it wouldn't be tonight. So hopefully that answers your questions. And if you have any other questions about anything, or if you think I didn't explain something really good, just let me know, and I'll be happy to try to cover it.